Hey guys, welcome to another GameXplain discussion. I'm your host, Andre Seegers, and this time we're joined by Nintendaan from Nintendo World Report to discuss his final thoughts and review of Mario Luigi Paper Jam. So, let's get started. Alright Dan, so your review of the European version of Mario Luigi Paper Jam just went up over at Nintendo World Report, and I thought it'd be fun for us to discuss your final thoughts on this game. You've been playing the game for a few weeks now, so you have quite a bit of experience with it. Yeah. And I know you're a pretty big fan of the series overall. So, what are your overall thoughts on this game?
So I think that I should give a little bit overview how I stand on Mario Luigi. Because liking it is a pretty assumption. I love these games. I loved every single one of them. I even loved Dream Team, even though I know that there were problems with the beginning of that game, and I still give the game discredit for that, but I still really enjoyed it because these games are inventive. They really bring a smile to your face. The writing is funny. They bring you to whole new places every single time. It's a lot of fun. And while I still had fun with Paper Jam, I do think that there are significant issues with it.
Really?
Yeah.
What stood out to you as not being as good as previous games?
Let me start with the environments. Like, I know, and if you know from what this game was gonna offer, you would know it was gonna be based on things in the Mushroom Kingdom. Because that is why this crossover exists in the first place with Paper Mario, to take its place in the Mushroom Kingdom.
Right.
But the places where it takes place are not really that special. They have given it a new names and a slightly new look, but they are still the grassy plains, the dunes, the underground areas, the beach, the woods, the snow area, and the lava battle. So there's not really anything crazy new or inspired to the places there where it takes place, and it feels like a departure of what this series is known for.
I'm surprised that having the whole paper conceit, like merging this with Paper Mario's world in some way. I'm surprised they didn't manage to pull out some unique or some new areas for that.
Yeah, it's basic. I would say it's based on Sticker Star.
God, no, don't tell me this.
Well, you only see it in slight ways. Like, it's not thrown into your face that it's based on Sticker Star,
right? But
it's a pretty big assumption that it's based on Sticker Star,
right?
I feel that they try to avoid every single reference to that game possible, but there are the basic Bowser companions and enemies, and there's not really anything overly interesting from like the originals or maybe even Super Paper Mario. It's just basically the basic Mario enemies. So my assumption pretty much is it's based on Sticker Star.
Well, right, because I mean, Sticker Star it felt kind of like more of a stripped down Paper Mario, right? Like, you didn't have a huge variety of characters. It was mostly just Toads, for instance, and you explored pretty generic areas.
Right, yeah.
And I think you were describing to me earlier that a lot of the missions in this game involve finding Toads, which, of course, even though it's not, not necessarily specifically Sticker Star, it definitely reminded me of it.
Yeah, it reminded me of it too. The thing is, the missions are fun in this game, but I would say that there are too much of them. And particularly when the game moves on, I just felt that the game was dragging just a bit too much with the missions. So just threw a whole bunch at them with you to extend the length of the game. And there are fun in different ways. Like, there was a hide-and-seek mission where you had to really search for the environments to find the Toads. So sometimes it would be in really annoying places, but they were innocent overall. Most of the missions overall were just fun to toy around with, but they should have had a lot less of them.
Right.
And I think it caused a lot of problems with the pacing, and sometimes I didn't necessarily feel like playing the game, because I knew that I just saved just before a whole bunch of those missions, and I just couldn't be asked to do them for a little while.
So no, I know each Paper Mario typically each Mario and Luigi typically introduces like, some kind of new gameplay mechanic. And obviously what they're doing this time is with the, the whole paper system, right? Having Paper Mario with you. Did that feel different to you, and was that fun to play with? How well do they incorporate those new mechanics into the game, and are they worthwhile?
Like, if you were traveling through the world or in battle, I think that's where the mechanics with Paper Mario shine the most.
Okay.
Because you of course had like various. If you looked at the trailers, especially, you would see that Mario, Luigi, and Paper Mario would work together to form like an aircraft, or what else is there? I believe where you would all struck the hammer down in a big succession after one another to create one big hammer.
Mm-hmm.
And those mechanics are pretty great in itself. They were really well worked together, and the puzzles and environment that uses them are fantastic.
Okay.
The attacks themselves, I would say that the trio attacks, which what they were called in battle, I would say the trio attacks are some of the most fun elements of the battle system now, because they're so varied.
Okay.
And they take a bit longer as well than Bros attacks, because you need to switch between all three characters to do different stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's also a bit more challenging, especially if you don't have like easy mode enabled, because there's an easy mode which I will come back to. But in normal mode, they are some of the most challenging attacks that you will encounter throughout the game.
Oh wow!
And getting the timing right is especially tricky.
Mm-hmm.
But they do a lot of damage if you can manage that. But talking about easy mode for a minute, if you have problems with like some of the battles, because some of the boss battles are actually really hard, I would say, there is an option for you to enable an easy mode option, which makes your attack stronger and you will lose less damage. But they will also help you to perfect like some of the moves that you would do in Bros attacks or trio moves. So there's an easy option for you then enable. It will be done available for you. You can toggle it there on and off if you want to. You can just do it the regular version as well, if you still want the benefits of easy mode but don't want to have the easy go at those attacks.
Okay.
But they will slow down certain moments for you, so you can learn the timing of the attacks, and that makes it actually really handy to have, because especially as the elements of the attacks grew more harsher, I had the hard time to keep up sometimes, and I wanted to take it a bit more slow and learn a bit more, which really helped. I didn't do easy mode a lot, but only when I had to learn like a new attack in like one of a battle.
That seems like a good idea.
Yeah.
Now something that Mario and Luigi, I keep saying Paper Mario. I just really want it to be a Paper Mario game.
we just wanted a new Paper Mario.
I know, right?
Where's the Faust Year 2?
But I guess regardless, like Mario RPGs in general tend to have awesome writing. Like the writing, the Treehouse. I guess actually this probably isn't the Treehouse in this case, but Nintendo in general usually has really strong writing for their RPGs. How is it in this one? Is it as good as the previous Mario and Luigi's?
I think there's some of the best writing ever in a Mario Luigi game is in this game.
Okay.
They make some really referential stuff, especially given the situation that everybody is in now. Like, both Peaches are adorable with one another. They're just gossiping all the time. They say from, "Oh, Mario will be okay," and Mario will be okay. Probably Luigi too.
Who cares about Luigi?
Yeah, they are having a lot of fun with one another. Especially both of the Bowser Juniors. They are fantastic. They just adore each other's presence. So they go both in their clown cars, just go about to cause havoc on our heroes.
Okay, that's cool.
Which is fun.
How about Bowser? Like he's usually had really good dialogue, except in Sticker Star where he didn't talk at all. How is it when he talks to himself in this game?
There's a video where I did this, where you can see how both Bowsers interact with one another. But at the beginning, they just are plurring the same lines to one another, and then they realize, oh, this guy is exactly like me. Let's find it out who is more superior. And then they sort of realize that they have to work with one another to take the Mario, Luigi, and Paper Mario down. Even though they can't stand the sight of one another, which is really funny when you see both Bowser Juniors just go happy-go-lucky.
That seems like a really cool idea. Like this having the same character interact with another version of himself is such a cool thing. So is that something that comes up often during the game? Or actually, maybe a better question would be, how was the story overall in the game? I know there's some parts you can't talk about, of course. But how did you find the story overall? Like, did you find the whole like paper jam idea interesting at all, or from a story perspective, did it do a good job with that?
I think the opening was going a bit too fast for my liking. Like, Luigi finds a magic book, book opens, paper world comes into the Mario Luigi world. That's basically the opening in a nutshell. There doesn't really much happen additionally to it. You just meet Paper Peach directly after.
Okay.
So it's not really anything crazy or overly exciting, but it's cute. I think I would describe the game as cute.
So is there anything else that the game does new that stood out to you, or anything else in particular about the game that really stood out to you?
A couple things. First of all the tutorials are optional.
Well, thank God for that. About time, right?
No, everything. Like, even like the small stuff that you would see in Bowser's Inside Story or Partners in Time. There would still be some tutorial stuff there. Here, it's completely optional.
Okay.
You don't have to do a thing. Like they would say if you want to know more or learn more about the basics of controlling these characters, there's a book at the touchscreen that you can touch. At the right side. You can go there if you want to know more. And then they don't even say press A to jump, Luigi press B to jump. They don't even say that. They say go ahead, have fun. They will throw you also more bones once in a while. If you feel like a story-driven mission, 3 times at least, you have the option to skip them.
Okay.
So they want to make sure that it's an easygoing experience as much as possible.
Right.
Which makes the pacing issue so weird to me. That is the whole weird thing about. Like, they do everything in their power to make this game as fun for you as it can be, but then they're having the pacing issues with all those missions there. Which is the craziest thing about it. That's a whole other issue, I guess, entirely. Then there is the battle cards.
Oh yeah, how did those work? Because those incorporate the amiibo too, right?
Well, the amiibo cards are actually a separate thing.
Okay.
So let me first talk about battle cards, then draw the comparison to amiibo cards. With battle cards, you can select a deck of 10 at a time. You have the option to collect them, get them from different stores in the game. You can also get a few ones in battle, and there's even some special shiny ones that do even more of the same effect.
Okay.
Similar to maybe another Paper Mario game that we won't talk about again. But yeah, those enemies and cards are still there, like being extremely shiny. But those battle cards will give you various advantages, like you can turn all the enemies into Goombas, but it has a chance to fail. Especially you can't use that in boss battles, for crying out loud, because that will make it too easy. But you can do some additional damage to enemies, you can raise your power, you can cut the BP that you would use for trio and throw stacks into half for a little bit. You can recover your HP, just a whole bunch of that, and you can use them without even using up a turn, which makes them quite powerful, if I can put it that way. And that's why I barely used them, because I felt that always that was a bit too powerful while using them.
So it kind of threw the balance of the game off a little bit?
A little bit. Like, there's still some harsh battles, and you would still lose them regardless of it, if you're doing badly. But they do give you a little bit of an edge.
Okay, I see.
There's actually more to it with the amiibo cards, because you have entire collections based on Mario characters, Mario artwork, and they have the various effects that also battle cards have. But where battle cards use star points, which you get by hurting enemies, these ones are free once you have them. So there are level 1 and level 2 versions of all these attacks, and they have all different artwork that you can collect, which is sort of fun. But the problem is, once you are in a battle, you can only use them when you have the amiibo with you.
Right, and this is a portable game.
Yeah. So there's not really a point to it.
Right, unless you're playing at home or something.
Yeah.
So how's that work though? Like, does each amiibo, can you use each amiibo once per day or something, or?
There doesn't really necessarily seem to be a limit. As long as you use like only one card at a time, it seems to be working fine.
Okay. And actually, what are your overall thoughts on the battle system in this game? Like, are you a fan of it overall? Do you think it built upon what the previous games did?
It just built upon what the previous games had, which is good. Especially, I like the Paper Mario side of it a lot more. Especially with how the timing is different and how he can make copies of himself, which makes a whole of other extra fun stuff happen.
Right, okay. And just for my own gratification, you can't swap out Paper Mario, right? He's always part of your party. There's no other paper characters you can swap out to.
He is the only paper character that you can use.
Darn it! So much missed potential there, I feel like. Where's my Goombella? She'd be perfect.
Where's your shiny Peach?
Right? Exactly. So any other final points, Dan, you wanted to bring up about this game, or any final thoughts about it before we wrap it up here?
Well, the music is pretty good. Let me put the music and the presentation are really good.
Okay, that's good. I mean, that's something the series has always excelled at. So it seems like that, the writing, it seems like they always basically nail those, and it's good to hear they didn't screw those up. So I guess my final question is, where do you put this in the grand scheme of Paper Mario games? Or sorry, Mario Luigi games. I keep saying Paper Mario.
Well, I can put it above Sticker Star.
Well, that's good. Thank God for that. Jesus.
Yeah, thank God. But as far as Mario Luigi games is concerned, I might say it's my last one.
So do you think that's because of the game itself, or do you think it's just because we've seen 5 of these games now and they might be getting a little bit too familiar? I don't know. What do you think about that?
Well, no. What I sort of miss with Sticker Star.
With Sticker Star?
With Sticker Star. With Paper Jam. There I go again. Yeah. We're constantly making references to that game. We're never gonna stop.
Nope.
So, with Paper Jam, I think where it misses the mark is having a good sense of progression, especially in the latter half of the game. I feel that all of the other games did this better. So the pacing is a bit weird.
Right. So, but overall though, you still like this game, right?
It's still an enjoyable game. It's still a fun game to play through. But don't go in realizing it will change the format all too much, or will blow your mind like some of the environments did in all the previous games. Because nothing beats being in Bowser's Belly, man.
Alright, well if you want even more of Dan's thoughts on Paper Jam, you can actually check out his full review over at Nintendo World Report. I'll link to it in the description below. And Dan, do you want to tell everyone else where all they can find you at?
Yes, too many places. So you can find me at NintendoWorldReport.com. We actually have our telethon this upcoming Saturday for Child's Play, where we do 10 hours of podcasting, so you can hear my voice for longer than here even.
Oh, I'll be tuning in for sure then.
And we have some special guests. I'm not gonna say too much, but I will say GameXplain had an interview once very recently, like a couple of months ago, so you probably can tell from that who it is, but I'm not gonna say his name just yet. And then there is my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Nintendaan1. And there's Twitter, which is just Nintendaan.
Alright, I think that wraps it for us here, so thanks guys for watching. If you liked our discussion, make sure to like and follow us on Facebook and Twitter at GameXplain. You can find links to them in the description below. It's a good way to keep updated on everything we post. And of course, keep an eye on GameXplain for more on Paper Jam once we get our hands on it, and other things gaming as well. Alright, thanks guys. Bye.